We live. Let the people know we here. Let's hit that intro for the people.
3, 2, 1.
We is here. You already know what it is. Gonna be a long. Kenny, part of the Beanie Boys. Been a minute, but he here.
Yeah.
Man, it's working hard out there.
You know how it is.
Cameron, I'm gonna just let you run the point. So I'm gonna let you Kyrie Irving it since you've been gone forever.
Okay, well, let's not say it like that. Kyrie got a couple too much detractors for me. I like to keep it simple and clean. But all right, it's been one of them weeks in wrestling. Had a lot going on, but the first thing I want to talk about, because I know you started playing that WWE 2K. I ain't played one in a minute, but I did. I seen another trailer drop. I'm like, and they got a lot of people involved. Like everybody who's basically on the roster was in that commercial. And they say the engine different. They changed some stuff up. How you feeling it so far? I know you got a couple of days of gameplay in now.
I did do a review.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go to the channel and check that out. But overall, I mean, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, there's some things I don't like, obviously. I never played 20, so let's get that out of the way. Because I saw what it was, I heard about what it was. I wasn't even gonna waste no money to go through all that. So I'm speaking on 19 to 22. The gameplay is smooth. Graphics is crazy. I finally played the jam mode. It's crazy because it gets a little addictive after a while, only if you're losing. Because I was losing, I was like, yo, how am I not winning my matchups? Like, that's crazy. Like, how am I losing? I'm getting the money, but I'm losing the ratings. That's crazy. So, but by the time you get in the swing and you start to unlock everything, the season's over. So it would make more.
It's not a long run time then.
You get like 15 weeks.
Yeah.
But by the time you get to unlock everything, like the arenas and the production and all that shit, by the time you get the flow, it's over. So it's like what would have made it better is if, all right, cool, that's season one. Now you go on to the next season. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what adjustments are you gonna make? Like, you know what I mean? But it's just like, okay, cool, it's dead. You lost. Start all over.
See, the thing about WWE 2K for me is that was always one of those games we had. It's like Mario Party. You got it, hopefully you have all the characters unlocked and you can just play when your friends came over, just chill. I never was big into it. Like, I didn't treat it like a my player and all that stuff you do with NBA 2K and stuff like that, right? But I do see like now that the way I'm in the wrestling now compared to last time I owned the WWE, because that's a long time ago. The GM mode might be a little fun, but now you're telling me it's only 15 weeks basically a runtime. It's like, as far as GM mode goes, that's kind of like a waste of time, really. Like, you don't really get to hit that stride. So I don't know if I'm really gonna get into that gameplay of that, but I did see it's catching some steam online, so I had to ask you because I know you was playing it.
No, I do the My Universe. Like, basically that's my GM for me.
Okay.
Because I go to the community creations, I get on my AEW cats. You know what I mean? I just noticed that I don't have any impact people, so I might need to change that because only one I have is Jay White. So I know I got to go get God. I got to get the Good Brothers and shit like that. But maybe Tasha Steele, Moose. Definitely got to get Big Cass.
Still in there, yeah.
But that's basically my GM. Like, I put it all. I made an arena, wrestling behind the curtain. You know what I mean? It's on there, available for download. You know what I mean? The arena is fire. So we call it Wrestling Behind the Curtain Thunder. If you know, you know. So
Okay.
that shit is lit. But my GM is fire. Like, I just watch the gameplay. I watch my peoples go. See some of the matches. That's fire. I attempted to do my rise, but that shit irked me because let me tell you what they do wrong with my rise. Like I didn't play 20, so if this was supposed to be the procedure in 20, then that's probably why I fucked it up, and that's cool. But when I first got the game, I automatically create my dude. You know what I mean? So I go through like 3 hours of making my dude. Like the tattoos look like me, everything is what it needs to be. So after I did all that and I fucked with it, and it was like 4 hours later, I said, you know what? Let me go to my rise because that's the career mode. And maybe I might get some episodes on there because I see some other cats do some episodes on there. I do that for the game channel. Make sure y'all go follow the game channel too, separate from this. Um, but then you got to do it all over. Like they don't even have a thing to where you can
You can
import.
use the player you create. You can't at all. You gotta do a completely separate thing.
I was like, yo, I ain't doing this shit 3 hours again. Nah. So I'm not doing my career, which might have been cool because I've seen some you know some cut scenes and they look like it might be official, but nah, I'm not doing that. Maybe next year, but
Maybe.
not this. But overall, like I said, it's like a 7.5 out of 10. If you're playing with your dudes, it's definitely worth it. If you're doing my universe, it's worth it. Which is what I usually do in every 2K. I mean, yeah, 2K19 anyway and 18. But you know, the other shit I don't know. Like the my faction, I think it's supposed to be like my team on NBA. I tried it out. It wasn't really my thing. So
Okay.
if you want to get on, if you want to hop on real quick, chill with your friends, it's cool. If you're going in for a whole different experience, it might not be your thing. But it is definitely better than 20 from what I hear.
Okay. Cool.
I've only ran into one glitch, and that was before the patch. Now there's been a patch, and I haven't really seen the glitch. It was basically like the dude just kept on running sometimes for no reason.
Well, they already passed it. That's far. So from WWE 2K to the other media production making the rounds, uh, Evil, which is a look at the greatest villains in WWE history, basically produced and narrated by John Cena, which I find kind of interesting because we always people talk about how he was basically always a babyface, but they're having him to narrate this stuff about all the bad guys. Run down the episodes real quick. It's Hollywood Hogan, The Miz, Sasha Banks, Brother Destruction. I'm looking forward to that one. Randy Orton, Stephanie McMahon, Ric Flair, Roman Reigns. So 8 episodes announced March 24th when it dropped. Seen that trailer looked fire. I'm not even gonna lie. So I think it's going. They got something here. This might be the first big thing between Peacock and WWE because yes, we've had the Premier Live experience in pay-per-views, whatever. But those are things that we was already doing. This is something completely new. It's a new style of documentary, I think. So I think they got some fire on their hands right here.
I think this might be their entryway to Dark Side of the Ring. This might be their little competing thing that they got going on. First thing is, I think we could deep dive on this at another time unless we want to do it now. I do think John Cena was heel at one point. I think the Thugonomics, he was heel. He was like as closest to heel as they would allow. Because if you go back and
I've actually had a conversation with JJ before. Like I agree that it wasn't a babyface thing, but the grand consensus is first of all that was a very small speck of time, and a lot of people still think at parts of it, like when he started getting real popular with it, he did start try to pull back on what he was saying, so it was less heelish over time. But to begin with, definitely it was a heel. He was going out there and amping up the crowd, so for sure. But for some reason, everyone doesn't agree on that. We could definitely deep dive on that another time. Get JJ in here. He loves Cena, so
he's a Cena mark.
So yeah, you can bring him up in here. But
yeah, he was definitely here. But I'm definitely not watching the first episode. I'll let y'all do that. Y'all can deep dive on Terry. I'm not gonna show Terry no love on that. You know what? I'm gonna lie to you. I might watch it because it's just the fact that I know what it's supposed to be talking about, and if we're gonna be honest, even though I'll separate the two for right this second, that was probably the biggest turn of like all time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mr. Vitamins, Mr. Say Your Prayers, Mr. Do Good, and then I feel like this could be another deep dive too. I feel like Hogan. Oh, my bad. I feel like Terry hijacked the whole NWO. I feel like that was Scott and Kevin's idea with Bischoff, and Terry was like, you know what? I could be a part of this, and it'd be so much better if I turn heel and run with y'all. Because I feel like it was a two-man crew thing, and then he inserted himself in there. Because Terry was
outsiders were definitely a two-man thing. So Yeah, for sure.
But
But
like you said, trailer looks fire. I definitely want to watch every episode, especially Sasha, especially Roman, because Roman is definitely hitting his stride. Like Roman could probably take this will be another deep dive because I don't. I mean, this is a wrestling thing, so we could stay if we want to. But Roman might be taking because I don't think he's the best heel of all time. I mean, I think he's had maybe the best heel dominance, could be arguably of all time.
we've seen for a long time, for at least maybe
Yeah,
not of all time, but definitely as far as
because he got some body. He got some bodies, like some
well,
real.
it's like if we could look at it a couple different ways because when you look at the guys with the long reigns, besides Brock, they're not really heels. They're baby faces, and that's what Roman is right now. He's a heel. So it's been a long run. You can see who he's beating this amount of time. All guys who were either top dogs while he was gone, like Braun Strowman, because he was a top dog when there was no Roman, or people who were still on top of the roster while current day, and everybody in between. So I do think for sure you could talk about it being for at least the last while, this is the biggest heel run we've seen. So I don't know about all time. I'd have to think back, but
Well, what I was going to say is, I think he could arguably. I'm gonna put my beanie on in a second. I think he could arguably take Triple H's spot as a better heel.
Reign of Terror is something crazy though.
I mean, I'm just saying though. Roman he's in that bag right now.
Oh, he definitely is. I'm not gonna argue that, but
I
Reign
think
of Terror, that Helmsley McMahon era, that shit was a crazy time. Not even gonna lie.
the way he beat Goldberg, which was expected, was dope. Depending on how he beats Brock, if he does, because I feel like that can go two ways, and I guess eventually we'll do that for predictions. I feel like he could win to, depending on what Vince wants to do, to solidify he's Vince's favorite of all time, and he is that guy, and he unifies it for the 2 nights. Or we don't really give credit to storytelling, but there is that story of he beat the shit out of Seth. So it wouldn't make sense since Seth has nothing to do supposedly right now for Seth to interfere and cost Roman that belt.
I like what you're saying, but there's one thing we gotta touch on for sure because we've talked about this in the group chat a little bit, and we both think it's a good idea. I know that for sure, but what's the likelihood of them actually unifying these belts? We keep talking about, maybe what's crazy
for a day.
when it was Roman, Big E, when it was Roman, Bobby Lashley, when it was the Fiend, Bobby Lashley, you could tell obviously the belts were on the same level. You could tell at that time who was supposed to be more important. Because at one point, the belt that was on Raw was more important. Then Roman came back, the belt that was on SmackDown was more important. You could see that. But right now, because of how much of a, it's Brock and Roman, now it's like, okay, now y'all got to call one a secondary belt. You can't tell me these guys are on the same level. How are we going to prove it? Best thing to do, make it one belt again. Like this would be one of the best times to do something we already want to do, which is unify. So, but what's the likelihood?
But the craziest thing, they said that they're going to unify that belt, correct? I don't know what it's going to become, but they're going to automatically make another one for Raw. Or whoever loses.
This again. So they're going to unify. It's going to be on SmackDown. Then Raw going to get another belt.
Or Raw and then SmackDown is going to get another belt.
That's ridiculous.
Which is the rumor. And the rumor happened right after they said they were unifying it.
Oh, that reminded me. We talking about belts. I ain't been out here in a minute. Like you said earlier, Ricochet is a champion. Wow, didn't see that coming. Shout out to him because as far as in the ring, still one of my favorites. Yeah, outside the ring, he's made some decisions in multiple different ways that ended up where we are now, and then also how they've booked him has not been the best. But in the ring, that guy could go. It's crazy. Hopefully, he can get a good run out of that belt. But I wouldn't hold my breath about it. Just wanted to bring that up.
I think they need to switch that belt back.
What you mean?
They need to make it look like it used to.
With the Intercontinental?
Yeah.
You mean like how it was before Pat Patterson died?
Yeah, bring it back to the white strap. Like,
that's way before. That's even before that. The 2 changes ago. Okay, yeah, I can see that. You talking about the Miz's belt?
Yeah, the Miz's belt. Just bring it back.
They would need a Miz-like run too, though. It's not just bringing the belt that looks good back. The Miz's run is iconic.
But I mean, what they could do, which they're not, is Ricochet could go crazy because he has the capabilities of doing it. If you've seen him in New Japan, if you've seen him in the Indies, if you've seen him when he was in Lucha Underground as Prince Puma, the boy could go. So if he had a crazy heel turn, maybe everybody got to be heel because, like Paul said in the trailer, do you find the good guys good? Not really. It's all about the heel. So if something happens and he turns heel, he comes back, maybe puts the mask on. I don't know if he wants to cover his face or not, but go back to Prince Puma-ish, do some crazy ass matches, but bring the belt back, fire. But I doubt they're gonna do it. Like, I don't know. I don't even think. Yeah, this is a whole different chat, but I don't even think WWE cares about belts. Maybe the top two, Roman and Brock. That's about it. I don't think they care about the IC. I don't think they care about the United States because the United States Championship at first, yeah, it looked cool because it was bigger, but if you really look at it, it's really ugly. It's not really that great. The tag team belts are horrible. Like,
We talked about unifying those belts forever, so we don't got to go back over that.
son, the main event, well, not the main event, but the Usos at WrestleMania are going against Bugs and Shinsuke. Why?
Because they've wrestled everybody else.
What
Like,
sense?
I mean, WrestleMania. Oh man. Oh,
WrestleMania looks horrible this year.
we can talk about. I think we should let it shit. Oh, I don't. That I don't even want to touch on that right now. We need everybody in here, or at least one more person in here to talk about that for sure. Because
You're right.
because
We'll say
we
that.
go back and forth all day.
Moving over to belts that we thought were surprising, even though this wasn't going to be a topic. Scorpion Sky. TNT belt.
So
I actually wore my wrestling fans are toxic because you guys are crazy. Like,
yeah, that came for you the other day. We could get into that. But I think for Scorpio Sky, right? Remember, that's because people forget first tag team champion in AEW. People remember SoCal. They was the first SCU.
When they were popping.
Yeah, they were first. And then they decided, Scorpio Sky need to go for his own little run, and he was basically no one contender for the TNT belt when Cody had it. So that was his first chance. Didn't get it. Cody beat him. He had another run at it with Darby through the Men of the Year. Didn't get it. Then the Men of the Year went and got what's his face? Guy from American Top Team. He came and screamed every week. Saw him in person both times because American Top Team is in Miami, so that was great, I guess. So yeah, I didn't like that. I talked about how I wanted that to finish because not only was the Men of the Year didn't seem like a good fit. I thought Scorpio Sky had more potential, and I saw this right before he won the belt. I saw this on Facebook. I was going to send it to the group chat, but it was actually the day he won it that I saw it. Basically, he had one televised win since his loss to Cody. So every time he had won, it was on Dark or Elevation. So the fact that they put him back on the spotlight, he won on Rampage, and he got. So I want to say shout out to Scorpio Sky for sure because I always thought he had potential, but they was wasting it. He was one of the failure stories, basically, we could say.
I mean, it basically shows that he's probably going to be a transitional. Like Wardlow's going to get that.
Oh yeah, Wardlow coming for it.
But I don't like. I mean, maybe you do. Depends on how you feel about it. I don't like that he got rid of the other title. I like the two TNT titles because to me it made it different.
Okay, I mean, I did like the way they switched it every time. Like that we talked about how fire that could be. Yeah. Like if Danielson got it, he could bring back the wood thing. Like we talked about how the designs could be fire. But I mean, again, we talk about it. They don't get everything right. We say it all the time. That's one of the things I guess they didn't pick up on it like we did, like the fans did. Even though they're supposed to be the fan company, they didn't pick up on it, and now it's just one less cool thing they'll have. But it is what it is. It's not great, but it's not.
I mean, I think, like I said, I kind of don't think they care because I think they already know that Wardlow's about to get it, and then I guess we'll see what happens there.
Maybe it's. But even then, even when it's been quick switches, they switch around for champs. Because I mean, you can't. Even if that's the case, then you can never do, or not never do, but now every time it'll be a quick switch. We'll know every time because then be like, oh, they didn't change the belt this time. Because then are they going to change it for Wardlow? Or we just not changing it anymore for good. We won't know till Wardlow, whoever's next, gets it. We won't know for sure, but I don't know. I'm just in between for me.
Yeah. What else are we going to talk about? Okay, so yeah, again, this wasn't even on the topic, but I was not impressed by Swerve's debut. I don't know if it's because it's him. I've never really watched him. I don't know if it's because it's his dance partner Tony Nese. That match was horrible to me.
I've seen Tony Nese at an indie show in person down here in Florida. Um, I think he's one of the more snug wrestlers. I'm not sure him and Swerve, because I do think there's a point to be made about the dance partners, but I don't think it's because Tony Nese isn't good. I want to give him his respect. I think it's because their match, they just don't flow good. I think that's what it is. Because I didn't go on Twitter for this. Because remember, like I told y'all boys, I gotta go looking for wrestling stuff when I want to see it. So I didn't really see. So when what do come down is like, well, all I saw was basically about Big E, which we're gonna get into. Because everyone, all wrestlers, he's such a happy presence, such a good guy. Everyone wants to say well wishes. So basically, anything wrestling on my timeline, that's what it was. Is people talking about Big E, but we're not gonna get into that quite yet. So I really don't know how people received it, but personally, I'm kind of with you. I wasn't too improved, but I wasn't too impressed. But I do want to give him time to improve. Again, we got a lot of we was defending for a long time, but this roster got too many people now. We got to sit down.
Like watching the debut made me think of you might have could have kept your bucks on that one. Like that wasn't really had to go get kind of guy for now. But like I said, it could be the dance partner. Maybe things will change because a good run, a good stable, could change shit. But like if he had like a hit row type thing in AEW, maybe he would have looked different. But by himself against Tony Nese, just like I felt like the timing was off. There were some botches. Like it just wasn't smooth at all.
Yeah, there's some botches in there for sure.
But that's what it is.
So we talking botches. Let's talk Butch.
He
got my dog Pete Dunne over here. Dog Pete. When Pete Dunne first got to NXT, I loved it. He was one of those guys I really, really liked. But in true, call up fashion, they brought him up and changed his name because Pete Dunne is two names. You gotta have one name. Butch is one name. Bam, your name is Butch. I don't understand, bro. I don't know how this keeps tripping me up. But are they not aware that NXT is their product? Like I understand. I still think it's stupid, but I understand when a guy come off the Indies or whatever the case may be, or even if you train him and you don't want to use his real name in that case, you come into NXT and you change his name. But why is this guy coming off the Indies into NXT and you change his name and he gets to the main roster, you change his name, or you didn't change his name when he got to NXT, which you usually do with people, and then you change it when he gets to the main roster. Why we gotta have one name? I don't understand why they keep doing this. Everyone has to have one name. You got to be only one name, and everyone's name from NXT don't make it to the main roster. Like what? It make no sense to me. And if you're gonna choose a Butch, that was the best they could think of from a dog.
And then out of everybody, I thought Pete was safe.
Not
my man Pete.
And then they made fun of it on that. Like they knew it was stupid. Like you could see, or at least maybe the wrestlers know it was stupid because if you see the way it's presented as a joke.
I mean,
I received it as a joke.
It's like to the point to where they know they're a joke and they're just running with it. Because like even if I don't watch it because anyone that retweets it or shows it, I just block them because I just can't stand it. But even to the point where Veer knows it's a joke, to where he's posting shit like on fucking IKEA and like.
He still hasn't made it to TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, that joke was funny for a little bit. It's ran its course fast.
Yeah.
So.
How you mess with my man Pete Dunne though?
Not surprised. We know how call ups go. Right?
So that means Braun is called up too, though. So now what happens with him?
He's just gonna be Braun instead of Braun Breaker.
Or Breaker.
Or Breaker. Shit.
They might not call him Braun.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, they might want him to replace, when people think of Braun, they think of this one instead of the old one. Who knows? You know how they do some stuff is just a little old school. That's wrestling all around. We know that.
The reports say that he was told to smile more backstage.
Yeah, this is not the first. They've told him that before. Actually, there was a time in NXT.
He's a heel.
I know. He's also a hard hitting badass type guy. So even if he's a babyface, he's not gonna smile all the time. I mean, Stone Cold wasn't always smiling.
Why would I want my badass like why would I want
yeah, I don't know, bro.
I don't. Yeah, like people, they always get on us like, yo, why y'all be trashing? Like, yo, I'm trying.
You know what? Since you say that, I'm gonna give WWE some credit. Remember a couple months ago we was talking. Oh, they was talking about turning Roman babyface. They've held off. Roman's still heel. That at least they got what's been good is still good. It's we the things that are happening that are bad are things we basically expect. Again, you did say you thought Dunne was safe from this, but that's kind of our fault. We got a track record to go off. We know what happens when you get called up. You cut your hair, they change your name, stuff. What made you? They got to strip it back again. We know that, so we got to stop expecting better or different. It is what it is on that. To be honest, we got spelling bees on Raw sometimes. Yeah, like it is what it is. I mean,
You
we
know,
can still say, "Oh, that's bad," but we ain't got to bring it up every time because
you know what? You know, I don't watch NXT, even though I should for Nikita, but they had a match where Shorty said she won just to get her dad's credit card back.
Yeah,
Like,
it's cartoony down there now. We saw that when they changed the look. We just didn't know how far they were gonna go.
how do you feel? How do you feel being Shawn Michaels down there?
I mean, but I've talked about it before. WWE, what they were best at was these characters. It's just that they've gone in a different direction. Because if you look at the '80s wrestlers, if you look at early '90s before we get to Attitude Era, Attitude Era is that's a whole nother ballgame. But when you look at it, it was just a giant live action cartoon, and people loved it. And I still love some of that stuff. But what this is maybe a step in the wrong direction. But maybe it's the PG in my age. I don't know. But again,
I really, really try. Like, I try because I even watch Impact now. Like, I'm trying to appreciate different programs, but you're not making it easy for me. WWE. It's like you don't really.
I think WWE has the hard because I mean you give Impact a hard time, but I don't really because I used to give TNA a hard time, and it's just because of the way I came into the wrestling game. But Impact, I don't give too hard of a time. I have I like their pay-per-views. I've had a couple times where again I don't watch any wrestling live anymore, really, because I don't have the time. But it's one of those. Okay, it's on here. I can go check it out real quick. So, but I think as far as even indie, when going to go see a show yourself, when they do something like really gimmicky, like first of all, you probably drinking, you in the atmosphere, you probably give it a bigger chance. But when WWE went after such a long history of being so good, and then now a long recent history of being so bad, you automatically just want to be like, okay, yeah, I'm not giving this any chance. Because think about it, Raw Underground could have been fire. Like if you think about some like but it also could have been the Brawl for All. That's not like certain things back in the day wasn't bad. We still liked the wrestling back then. So it's almost like the track record recently has made us give up before we even give it a shot. So I think we got to find an even balance because, yeah, they're going to have some trash stuff like spelling bees.
Like, I have no desire to watch WrestleMania. Maybe, obviously, Brock and Roman because those are my two dudes, and Edge and AJ only because I feel like that's probably going to be match of the night if they stay healthy.
Well, my problem with the WrestleMania is the length, really.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they made it 2 days for us.
So yeah, they're keeping that pattern. They realize that's the sweet spot. Thank God.
No, they realize that they're going to make double money for the same show.
I mean, they tried it with the 8 hours on one night and it didn't work. So people was tired. So
just think about it. One show you make, I don't even know what the numbers are, but let's just say for the argument, one night you make $50,000 because you sold the place out. I can make $50,000 twice. All right, cool. We're gonna make it 2 nights.
In theory, yeah.
I'm sure they would even do it 3 nights. Add an NXT to it.
Fair.
But yeah, let's just move on.
All right.
Let's stay on.
Is it the big one yet? We got it. Let me make sure. I think we could just go straight into Big E, but let's do Jeff Hardy first because Big E.
Yeah, because you missed our Jeff Hardy conversation.
Yeah, I wasn't here for the Jeff Hardy talk, so I didn't get my take on it. Hopefully, this, like we said before, he even came over when we thought he might come over. This is just him versus Darby, and that's it. We don't need much else. We don't need you breaking your body, Jeff, proving yourself all over again. You've been every promotion in the big leagues, ROH. I mean, maybe not GCW, but that wasn't a big league when you was up and coming. You've been on EC. You've been on everything. You got nothing to prove to anybody. Don't go destroy your body. Just have one Darby match be a little crazy, but remember you old man. Maybe let Darby do the crazier stuff, and then you get your sunset and take Matt with you because I'm tired of his stable. It is literally the worst stable in AEW. I
Well,
am sick.
I think it's taken over by Andrade now. Because now it's just the Hardys.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what the whole plan behind the HFO even was. So
It's probably because they didn't have anything for him. Matt extended his contract. Supposedly it's the same length as Jeff's, so they'll probably be riding off to the sunset together. I believe that they're planting the seeds for the Hardys versus Sting and Darby. I don't know if we'll get the one-on-one, but I think we'll definitely get Hardys versus Sting and Darby. I think we'll definitely get that. The fans got to know that that's what we want. Tony got to know. Like, it's pretty much younger version of Jeff Hardy. So, I mean, they got to know.
They know. They definitely know.
So. Yeah, in a nutshell, I'm happy because I love Jeff. I mean, granted, substance abuse and all that stuff, I hope he's all right. I hope he gets help. But I don't know him personally, so I can only go by what I see. He looks like a very sweet, humble dude that enjoys people, loves people. So, from a personal, like, I love seeing him on TV. Like, I think he's a cool dude. You know what I mean? Like, Jeff's always been that cool dude. So, I hope he stays healthy, stays where he needs to be, gets a good little run. And then, I feel like they might go for the tag team titles one more time.
I mean, again, with a division like this, maybe the belt. Maybe I think we could start talking about because I did see another thing we didn't say we are going to talk about, but I can bring up in a bit about tag teams. But I'm gonna surprise you with that. So this division and we see how stretched it, how many people it is, how many good tag teams. I think the tag team belts are held by each tag team. So besides maybe SCU, too long. I think we could shorten some of those reigns because we talk about all the other belts having long reigns and that being good. But I think the tag team belts might be held on to each. I think Young Bucks had it too long. I think FTR had it too long. But I did like the story between Young Bucks and FTR, so that was a little different. But I think
I can get the Young Bucks because the Young Bucks are the best tag team of all time.
Yeah, but I do think the run was too long because they how many they basically defended it at the pay-per-views. And
you know what? Okay, cool. You know what? I'm glad you kind of brought it up. I'm going to tell you what I think AEW does wrong. Since we're always the fanboys for AEW and they're so perfect, I'm going to tell you what I think I just figured out what they do wrong.
What?
The Easter eggs are amazing. The storylines are amazing. The surprises are amazing. I think they do a great job of getting us to the end. And then when we get to the end,
it never hit right.
The plan, they don't have a plan after that. Because the Jungle Boy shit, I love Jungle Boy. Like, the theme music is fire. I love Luke Perry. All that was crazy. The run, I don't care for. Like, get the belts off them. I don't care for it. Hangman Page. Getting there, amazing. The run has been horrible. Like, it just consistently happens. Like, they build everything amazing, and then when we get there, it's like, okay, now what?
I can see what you're saying. You could even go another one. The death match. All the way up there, lead up was great. The match was great, and then explosion's supposed to come. No explosions. So I mean, if this is maybe it's even more deep rooted than we think, but that might be a very good way to look at it. We could maybe do a deep dive on that another time about exactly why they're able to get that storytelling part right to get there, but then the run, because I mean, you might even be able to say, I mean, Britt's probably the worst example of this. Britt Baker's probably had the best run out of, all the belts we talk about right now, and you might be able to say that lead up to it was better than the actual getting the belt too. So I don't know, and that's during the time when the women's division wasn't as good as it is now.
I think what saves Britt is one, she's actually getting better as time goes on.
Yeah,
and it's a very weak division. So I mean, it's kind of like, where do you go from there?
True. So,
before we get to the Big E, you want to talk about?
No. I had one thing before Big E. So I seen this on Facebook. Apparently, AEW saying they're not touching the Briscoes. So that's apparently a match. We never get an FTR versus Briscoes. It's basically so we getting that
because of the winning shit, right?
Yeah, because of the 2012, 2013, like it was from the thing back then. So we are getting that. We probably getting that match on the Indies though. So because you see,
Yeah.
FTR has made themselves available for the Indies. And another thing I see about FTR floating around is they want Bret Hart as the manager. So we got a lot. The FTR got a lot of things cooking outside AEW and inside. So that's the other thing I want to mention about tag teams was them. So you go ahead.
The Bret Hart's interesting, and I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with Punk. And obviously, Bret Hart, I do believe what Punk said. Like, if anyone should have got that money love, it should have been Bret. Like, obviously, besides HBK, because HBK is my dude. But I mean, it was always Bret and HBK. Like, those were always the two. You know what I mean? So I do feel like Bret is missing out on a lot of money. Like, regardless of what the reason is, he definitely is missing out because he should be a bigger presence. But I'm interested to see what happens. I don't really know if he's a good fit for the FTR though.
I mean, if I had Tully was basically.
I get that, but I feel like
I think Tully was just was perfect. So it's like if you fire him at this point.
I feel like if Bret has the capacity, because no shade, I just don't know where he is mentally and like health wise. But if Bret has the capacity like to actually have a run as a manager, I feel like he should have a tag team that's either there that I don't know of, or a new tag team that is technical, like he was. You know what I mean? Like if he had a team,
might be individually technical, but they are the best. Like tag, they're the best at wrestling as a tag team. Which you could say he was with the Hart family. No matter if it was his brother or the Annaville, either way he made it work. So
yeah,
I don't know. And we might be able to use that too. Who knows? I think there's a lot of different ways they could go there if they go there. I don't know if it's actually gonna happen. I think we got enough superstars over there already. We don't need to keep bringing people over. We just keep telling stories and maybe stop swinging so hard because that's why we miss sometimes. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what the swing's too hard. You're not making contact with the ball. Got to keep your eye on the ball.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it going with some other stuff, but I think with the it might not keep going with the purchase of ROH. I don't know how this is gonna go because I feel like it would slow down. But did you hear that Tony wants to be the booker of ROH?
Well, then that'd be a different thing, though, wouldn't it? We could call. I mean, maybe they'll cross streams every once in a while, but we could call that the same way WWE doesn't seem to claim NXT as part of their own thing, or maybe the way WWE owned Evolve before Evolve completely folded, and people didn't even remember that.
No, I get it, but as much as we love Tony at booking, supposedly, don't we feel like that's too much? Like, bro, how are you gonna do both?
Oh, I 100% think it's gonna be too much on his plate, but I'm not sure how much ROH I'm be consuming, and ROH might be the one to take the hit instead of AEW. But then again, maybe it's AEW, and then ROH gonna be the most fire it's ever been. I used to love ROH, so who knows? But I mean, I do think it's too much. But we do know that he also didn't like having everybody else's hands when everybody else is helping out book. He decided he wanted to be the only person booking, which sounded real Vince-ish. So if we give Vince problem with that, difference is Vince got a room full of people. Tony has. It was like 5 EVPs that are supposed to be helping him out, but still sounded real Vince-ish. That's not what we want. So
yeah, that sound crazy, but the fact that Punk always comes on the after pay-per-view things and always talks good about how Tony lets people say their piece and give their opinion, I guess I'm still okay with it. It's not like he took it over and was like, "All right, everyone, shut up! Don't tell me nothing. I got this." So
obviously, we keep talking about the wrestlers have an impact, and that's great. So. I'm sure that's how every company besides, because I know Impact they get a little say so. I know New Japan, everybody's cool with it. He used to be a wrestler, so they get a little say so. Maybe not too much. So maybe I don't know about Strong because this company.
I feel like at this point Tony's gonna chill out because if you think about it,
he needs to.
Because if you think about it realistically, it's free agents. Who's really available out there that we're like, we need them? Like I already said, I'm not really keen about Cesaro. Like, if it becomes cool, I won't be mad, but I'd rather see him go to Impact or some shit like that, or maybe Ring of Honor now, whatever. Samoa Joe, cool, but don't really care if he comes to, AEW. So, like, who out there besides a major player like AJ or Finn would you be like, I need them in AEW?
I mean, we could have said that before. I mean, we didn't need Buddy Matthews to come join House of
I do like it though. It makes sense.
It's cool, but again, we could have said we actually did say before he came over, like, oh, he definitely go to Impact. So,
but you know what? That's why it makes sense to me because if he would have came just as Buddy, what was he gonna do?
True.
But as a henchman in the House of Black, now it gives him a little rub to where I might be, oh shit, maybe I want to see Buddy by himself now.
Yeah, the
You
rub
know what
that
I
he
mean?
was supposed to get from
The same thing
Fenton
that
Harper.
happened with Wardlow. When Wardlow came, I don't know if you liked him at first. I didn't really pay him too much mind when he first like arrived, but eventually as the story progressed and we wanted the turn and the turn happened, like I'm really fucking with Wardlow. Like
Well, I mean,
like
maybe I wasn't like super interested, but I am, programmed by Vince via wrestling, so I see a massive dude. I want to see what he could do every time, and then he proved he could do some stuff. Versus Jake Hager versus he hasn't hit Hobbs yet, but we didn't see it a couple times. People his own size, people smaller than him. So we do want to see that run, but maybe not. Not as much as after seeing the MJF thing and seeing the when they were part of the Inner Circle too. So that's a fair point.
I mean, and they're playing smart. He's not going straight for the title. He said he wants to get the TNT belt.
True.
So it's not a Vince thing of okay, you like him. He's a big dude. Pause. I like him. WWE title. He's got it.
That's
So I
true.
do like that. I do like that effect. Um, I mean, we're already here, so it's flowing smooth. How do you feel about the JS, the Jericho Appreciation Society, or whatever it's called?
Oh, 2.0 and the, again, I tell you there was a video out there. I don't want to give too much other people clout because we're not getting clout from anybody else yet. But it's talking about how AEW needs more stables, and I really didn't agree too much with it. But I could see that line of thinking from a lot of people because they do stables so well and it helps their storytelling so much. It's great, but I don't think we need more, and I think this is a sign of why we don't need more. Like this is just a stable for stable sakes. Like what is the point here? What like the people in the stable were having coming out parties, decent runs by themselves.
Yeah,
Jericho didn't need this, so why is that? I mean, and then he broke up a stable to get here. Second time that's happened. Like I don't think I don't know if we're trying to tell the Pinnacle Inner Circle story again because that didn't hit how they wanted to hit. Because I know it didn't hit how they wanted to hit because we talked about that.
mm-hmm.
Are they trying to do that again? Like I don't see what's the plan here. I don't think this is if we're gonna make more stables. This is stables we need to make. I already said if we're gonna make more stables, make some female stables so you could book the women where you book the men because that shit works for the most part.
Yeah,
You don't have to do exactly, but it's a good way to do things.
I mean, yeah, we definitely said that female stables would make AEW stand out, and it's never been done really. So that
Yeah.
was basically our idea of, once we have some NWO type shit with the females, or Undisputed Era, or DX type shit, and it would be crazy. But again, that's another time. I don't see it because I don't really like any of the guys. Maybe they did it because of the help. So maybe eventually I will like Daniel Garcia or 2.0 or whatever. But
I mean, maybe it's BTE, maybe it's because I did like him on NXT. I did 2.0, that is. I do like them. And Daniel Garcia, I'm not like crazy for him, but I do think he's got a lot of potential. So I do appreciate him. But again, this with the Jericho, why? Not sure. Not sure that was necessary.
yeah. So do you think Thunder Rosa is going to take the belt in the steel cage?
I mean, I think it might be time. I think we can
Because
get some care.
she's 0-2 now, right?
Yeah, I think it might be time because you don't pull the trigger on her now. I mean, she's went for both belts, didn't get there in the end. I mean, if you don't do it now, and she's basically besides Serena Deeb to me, besides the belt holders and Serena Deeb, she's the best in the division, and they got something else going on with Serena Deeb. So I don't think she's going for the belt anytime soon. So if you don't pull it now, when you gonna pull it? I mean, again, yes, Tay Conti is beloved, but she already failed at the other belt. You can't just go give her the Britt Baker belt. So I mean, you got Thunder Rosa got to get it now.
And Tay's she's still green too because that match with her and Jay was not good.
They both green. It was a mistake to put that.
Yeah, you can't put two green people together. That was crazy.
I feel combined, they have like less than 2 years of wrestling experience.
That belt does look fire though, so I can understand why Britt wants to hold it.
Huh? Oh, the new belt?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. I fucks with it.
the new belt is fire. Let's get to Big E.
They're calling your man Rich Holland the new Ryback. It's crazy. Rich Holland's like he's injured. Well, he didn't injure he's injured Big E, and he also broke his leg in that horrifying NXT episode. I remember that shit. It was fucking crazy. I was watching that live because if you didn't, Hulu was taking that shit out because children should not see that. It was brutal. So his injury history, as far as other people getting injured and him getting injured, is not looking good. I don't think he's a bad wrestler or anything, but that was a bad botch. And Big E is one of the most beloved figures in the game right now. He's positive guy, big dude, love the way he wrestle, all that, and the way he could get a promo, whether it be WWE or his football or boxing. He saw him do that when he was a champion. But for this to happen to him is, you don't want to happen to anybody. If it happened to him, it really hits different. But that shit was bad. I mean, he dropped him straight on his head. There's no way around it. That shit was bad.
Let's keep it funny. If you're not Brock Lesnar, you don't need to be throwing another big man over your shoulders.
And definitely not outside the ring. Yeah, so.
Like, very fortunate because I saw his update. They said he didn't break anything like crazy, like nothing with his spinal cord. No surgery, no surgery needed. He just got to rest up. So that's great because he is a great dude. And that would have been fucking horrible if that would have been it for him on that shit.
Yeah, that would have been insane because we didn't lost some greats in the ring too. Like, let's not act like I mean, Owen was not in the ring, but basically that's the problem. And we don't certain things you just don't want to see on live TV. Or I mean, these people are human. It's something we watch for our entertainment, but at the same time, you kind of connect to these people. You watch them so much, and you hear stories. And, we hear all these bad stories about people. But then you got people like Big E, where everyone loves him. Like he's met with wrestling fans. He's met with like a lot of people who just like Walk Culture. He did an interview with them, and they said genuinely one of the best people they've ever met. And they do wrestling interviews all the time. Like nothing but good things you hear about this guy. So it's kind of sucks that happened to him, especially since we were just talking about how, they didn't give him the run he deserved. So now how long is it going to take for him to come back? Is he going to get the run he deserved after this? Probably not. Now we're going to have to look back at the Big E run was that all they could have got out of him, which obviously is not going to be the truth.
So I don't think they're going to do it, but I saw this thing on Twitter that made me say, that's pretty appetizing. They said, what if Big E came back like Roman on that heel turn when he comes back?
I wouldn't mind it, but I don't think we currently have the roster to tear through the way Roman did when he first came back, which is a problem. There's not enough people. I mean, let me see. Like, it would be crazy if, like, let's say he come back and he tear through, like he beat a Drew McIntyre, he beats Sheamus. Like, I could see something working out. But
I think it became
once you beat like somebody like Drew McIntyre, like, and we don't have enough big dogs on the roster, basically.
This is how I would book it. I would bring him back, and it'd be like I can't say it'd be a main match because obviously they're not booked for main stuff, but it would have to be something where he comes back during like a Kofi Woods match type shit. So you're like, oh shit, the boy's back, the friend's back, and then he just fucks them up.
That'd be a good way to make the turn. People talk about breaking the New Day all the time, and
so then you get the program with him running through Kofi, running through Woods. So that's two faces out the way right there. And then I guess we figure out what other faces we have and then go from there. Because the main dog would have to be like what you said. The main one would have to be like Drew and whoever else is their top face.
Yep.
Unless you do a double turn and then you bring Roman face again, but have Big E destroy him.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess they have the time for that because I feel like they try to do that, then they try to turn Roman too fast, and we end up with fuck shit.
Well, Big E gonna be gone at least 8 months.
True, but let's
be clear. I love Roman. Do I want him to unify the belt? Yes, because I want him to be the big dog. But let's be clear. Roman got to let go of that belt. It's been too long. Like, I get it. It served its purpose. I love it. He's the man. Now we know it's solidified. But all right, now you gotta let it go.
Think about it is right. But remember, we say our opinion because it's not a fact. We don't work there. That they don't have long-term storytelling. But let's say they were planning Roman's run for an extended period of time. Let's say it's got 6 more months in the tank as of right now. That 2-month turnaround to get him to be a babyface is gonna be ugly if they got to change what they had planned or whatever how long it takes for Big E to come back. So I don't know if I want to even put that on into the universe of because let's have them turn him babyface because I mean the run got to end, but the run can end with him at heel, and then he turn. He don't got to like have the belt and turn, So
All right,
a lot of options.
So humor me on this. I told you if I thought anyone was going to beat Roman because they didn't let Big E do it, it was going to be Braun. And long and behold, look who's on the main roster now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it might be Braun Breaker. I just didn't see them. Honestly, didn't see them moving him up this fast. Like him being on the main roster and them having Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles on NXT, even though they regularly don't acknowledge stuff. Like I don't understand. Like,
what up, Fazby? Thanks for pointing out. You're the only one that's watching right now. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we ain't got the Twitch streamers today. It's just go to YouTube.
They ain't loving us today.
It's all good. Grind until we shining.
You know it. But yeah.
So, again, we say they don't have long-term storytelling, but who knows how they actually plan it back there now? Yeah, we know Vince, tear some shit up every once in a while, but maybe that stopped a little bit now that he on TV every week and shit. I don't know. I don't see why they called up Braun Breaker so fast.
Facts.
Now that they've called him up, and what are they gonna get? Who are the heels that he's gonna be a babyface to if he takes it off Roman? Like I don't see the plan in long term for this.
Like they legitimate had a new wave if they would have let Pete Dunne be Pete Dunne, but now he's Butch. I don't care about him anymore. I don't care about Gunther anymore.
I don't know. They're gonna have to figure something out for me. Again, I'm
But we said this already. They don't build the superstars. Like so now we're stuck in the thing of what Roman's done. Where do you go?
But here's the thing, right? When we talk about building superstars and stuff like that, let's even do Pete Dunne. He was on your show. You was building him. NXT is yours. You called him up and you changed. It's like they're actively trying not to build people. Like they got to be trying at this point. So I got nothing else to say on that. So like as far as like what is that even?
That's why they continue to be stuck because like we talked about AEW real quick. We have Bryan Danielson, we have Moxley, we have Cole, we have Kenny. We love these people. We love Punk. But I'm legitimately like, okay, cool. I want to see Wardlow. He's a new dude.
Yeah.
I want to see Jungle Boy with a title. He's a new dude. I want to see Hook. He's a new dude. You know what I mean? Like they build their young guys, and that's crazy. They plan for the future. Because like Big E got hurt, you know what I'm saying? Speedy recovery. I don't want to put this in the universe, but let's say Roman got hurt. What the fuck would you do?
Oh, they'd be screwed. Mike, the Roman program is so much. I mean, even then, it's losing a lot of steam, but it's so much above everything else on WWE TV. Like it is, again, lost a lot of steam, but at its peak, nothing was even near touching it on their programming, right? If they would have lost that at its peak, I mean, if they lose it now, it's maybe not as big as that, but they would have lost that like.
But they're even fucking up with the vets because why wouldn't you slowly be building Seth back? Because Seth will be a perfect. Okay, cool. Run it.
Yeah, but then they would only do that if Roman got hurt or something like that. They would never,
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, let's say Roman got hurt tomorrow. Boom. I'm not even invested in Seth to be like, oh shit, okay, Seth's there. Because as of now, Seth doesn't have a match. So it's kind of like, well, I want to see Seth for.
I feel that. Like, again, it's like.
And then they dropped the ball with Stone Cold. We knew Stone Cold was not going to fight. So why did you build it up like that was going to happen?
I don't know. Turn some heads, I guess. That's the best I could give. I guess that's the credit I could give him.
Like
I knew there was no way Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold was going to be on WrestleMania TV. What? Stone Cold couldn't go for a while now. Like what the? Like I knew that couldn't be what we were actually doing.
Son, JR recently said in a podcast, a post, whatever. It was like a respectable shade But he even said it. If Stone Cold came out of retirement, he's got to pick his dude, and it wasn't going to be KO.
Fair.
If you were going to bring him out for Texas, it should have been against Brock. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that dude need to come out of retirement at all. That's where I'm at with it. So
No, I think he's in good shape, but I don't think it's wrestling shape. So let's just stay where you're at.
yeah. That's everything we had on the agenda. But there's one last thing I wanted to touch on. New Japan Strong. I've been telling y'all. I've been watching it. I've been trying to catch up on it. It's on Fight. It's on stream. The time zones is crazy, but I still try to check that out. It's building steam. The booking's getting better. They got a decent roster. I think Joey Janela's finna go over there because he's not doing as much with GCW. And I think his beach thing comes up. I think it's in March. I think him and Jericho both have I think Jericho's cruise thing, then Janela's thing, and I think he's officially done with AEW as well. So I think he should come over to New Japan. New Japan Strong is strong, not the main. Strong is the US base. It's picking up steam. I think you should check that out whenever you get a chance, bro.
Bet. You already know what to do. We're here. If you got here late, run it back. You know what I mean? We talked about some good ish. But as always, we here Saturdays. And we try to catch some live events. If something's really big and popping, what I'm saying, we'll stream it. But other than that, you already know.
Yes, sir.